All right, the Olympic breakdown. Man, I'll tell you what, awesome Olympics as always. You know, every year you watch the Olympics, which is every 3 years, right? You can't help but see how much guys raise their level for this competition. Guys obviously look awesome for the World Championships, for the national tournament. But man, when you talk about the Olympics, this is the best of the best, and people around the world are peaking for the Olympics. There's no doubt about it. It's very obvious. For anyone who didn't see that before, they're seeing it right now. And this Japanese dominance was unbelievable. So I'm going to give a quick breakdown. We have a great video that's coming out that's going to give our whole Olympic breakdown, talking about freestyle, Greco, women's. Today we're just going to talk about the freestyle. Now, first and foremost, just major props and credit to all of our wrestlers from the U.S. and all of our wrestlers that wrestled overseas for other countries. So I want to put that out there first because I don't want anyone to think I'm talking bad about anyone or nitpicking any of that kind of stuff, but I did want to give an honest analysis of exactly what I thought about these matches. And again, it's just my opinion, but coming at it from a mindset point of view, I think it's really important that you hear us out and the things that we're thinking so you can get an idea into our mind and how we're evaluating matches. So first off, Spencer Lee, awesome. I mean, dominant up until the finals going against Higuchi. Guy was awesome. I think he was a little bit quicker than Spencer Lee. I thought Spencer was a little bit stronger than him. But, I mean, let's face it, the other guy I thought was a little bit more aggressive. Spencer was going a little bit more for counterattacks. And I do agree with Johnny Johnson's breakdown, J-Rock, talking about that at the highest level, the Olympic finals, you're going to have to be aggressive. Now, I know there's some defensive wizards out there that could win it. I'm not saying Spencer Lee isn't aggressive, but I think he wrestled a little too cautious and conservative in the Olympic finals, and I would have liked to have seen him create more action. That's where he's the best. He did say that in his interview right after the Olympics, so hats off to him for being able to give an honest assessment of himself, but it just stinks that now we got to wait another 3 years before he gets another crack at it. And, you know, when you have that one opportunity, you got to seize it. It's that close. And people were saying, man, I can't believe the Olympic finals came down, you know, that, and we're talking about all these matches, all the different weights. A lot of these matches came right down to it. And hey, that could happen for a wrestle-off. That could happen for a dual meet, county championship, districts, regions, states, NCAAs, national finals, world finals, Olympic finals. It's that close. You got to do everything right. You got to live as clean of a life as you possibly can. You got to do all the little things right. Cross your T's, dot your I's, because you never know it would make the difference. And then you look back with regret, right? But again, certainly nothing for Spencer Lee to hang his head on. You know, he wrestled tough. Higuchi was really good. And you got to take your hat off to him. Would have loved to have seen Michich there, as well as the Russian, to make it like a real true semifinals instead of Spencer and Higuchi both mopping up the guys in the semis. But yeah, awesome match. Hats off to Higuchi. Higuchi really good. Like I said, he was a little bit more offensive. Then you look over at 143. You know, Seabass, got to take your hat off to him. Sebastian Rivera, talk about will to win, and a guy who could just get one at the end. We've seen him will himself back into it. And there's a lot of wrestlers also like that who, you know, when they need to get one, they get one. And we saw last Olympics with Gable Steveson. We saw it with David Taylor and many other wrestlers just popping into my. Kyle Dake's a guy who could just go out there. He could get one when he needs one. Tony Ramos was a guy who just go out there. He could get one when he needs it. Seabass, Metcalf was usually winning. I was thinking Frank Molinaro. He was a guy who could just will himself at the end to just get one. And Yanni, I've seen him just get one at the end when he needs it. A lot of really good wrestlers, obviously. But, yeah, man, Seabass, hats off to him. Great job. That's 2 years in a row placing in the Worlds. Now bronze medalist in the Olympics. Awesome. And, you know, taking nothing away from Zayn. No, he's a little bit banged up. He's not at his best. It's a lot of weight for him to pull. That stinks. But, I mean, man, he lost to the Iranian who just looked awesome the whole time. Again, losing to Japan. That Japanese dominance we saw yet again in this Olympics. And, man, I mean, you know, we're going to do a full video demystifying the Japanese and talking about their school of wrestling and how it has its roots in judo. We're going to talk a lot about the Japanese school of wrestling because this is something that I learned about since 8th grade. I mean, my coach was real big on the Russians and the Japanese, so I know a lot about Japanese wrestling, and I was very blessed to speak with a lot of people who know a lot about this subject, including Tadaki Hata, son Ben Hata, Yoshi Nakamura. So we're going to talk about some of those interviews we had, demystifying what they're doing over there in Japan and how a lot of that has its roots in judo, which also is in the same common lineage as Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. But more on that later. Then you talk about Kyle Dake. Again, you know, great wrestler. He's a guy who had more points scored on him, you know, than against Takatani than, you know, maybe how many world championships in a row, right? But what could you say? Again, nothing at all to feel bad about. he wrestled great overall. I didn't think he wrestled offensive enough, kind of sitting back a little bit. And again, it's very tough at the highest level. He does have a great chest wrap that, you know, he's able to bowl people over, and he got it a few times. But, you know, again, I think at that top level, you got to be the aggressor. I mean, if you're going to lose one way or the other, and not that anyone's going out there to lose, I'm sure Dake fully expected to win, and he definitely could have won on a different day. But, you know, I'd have liked to have seen him dictate the pace a little bit more, getting after it. But Takatani, as a low single guy myself, and a bottom leg guy, like going bottom leg, inside leg, that's how I was trained, low single and that bottom leg. To watch Takatani do that and basically shut Dake down, that was awesome to watch from that perspective. Again, I was heartbroken for Dake. I wanted, you know, with all of me, for Dake to win. And I'd love to see Dake beat him again, but as far as a low single guy, like I said, that was awesome. What a great display of wrestling. And then he lost in the finals to the Uzbekistan, who is the successor of the replacement of Bekzad Abdurakhmanov. He took a bronze, beating actually Jordan Burroughs back in 2016. So, you know, again, and he's from Dagestan. We saw right after Uzbekistan won, Saitiev, they're posting pictures and videos of them. So it's, you know, a lot of these guys, again, from Russia, they're doing the same thing as America, wrestling overseas. And look, like, I know that's like an elephant in the room. Well, would some of these guys make the national team for the U.S., but then they're placing in the Worlds or winning the Worlds, right? We see with Micic, Gomez, Rivera, Cruz, Ramos, what do you call it? Valencia last year for Mexico, Miles Amin, many people, right? Many people, and Russia's doing it too. Look, I mean, we all know how tough it is, and you know, if you have the opportunity, it's a great thing to do when you think about it, because it's very, very hard to win the U.S. Nationals. I mean, you know, you got to do what's best for you. You have to give yourself the best shot at winning. I mean, people do it. It's crazy, because when you think about it, a lot of these people get critiqued. People do this for their wrestling club. People do this in high school. People do this in college. Why would it be surprised if it's done it shouldn't be a surprise if it's done at the World or Olympic level. So, hey, like I said, hats off to these guys. They're getting it done. They're getting it done. A lot of them are getting it done. They're placing. They're giving themselves a chance to win. So it's a hard thing to turn down. All right, going on up, Aaron Brooks. Obviously, that was a bummer. You know, again, we could be super critical. We could say, obviously, last couple seconds of the match, you get that low single, get that post hand, come up nice and high, look to finish rather than just hold on to it. You know, with 5 seconds left, guy's got nothing to lose. He could just lock your crotch and just throw his body and possibly get you. And that's kind of what happened right there. So, you know, ideally he would have kept looking to score. But again, you know, he wrestled a great match, nothing at all to be upset about. Came back and took a bronze, first international competition. So, man, that was awesome. Of course, the rumors, not the rumors, the curiosity right away is, would have David Taylor won it? Probably. But you don't know. I mean, he would have had to beat Aaron Brooks, and it didn't look like he was going to beat Aaron Brooks. Would have he beat Yazdani that day? Probably. We don't know. Would have he beat the Bulgarian? Probably. But we don't know. So you never know. Aaron Brooks did a great job, did U.S. proud. Always love that he gives glory to God. His priorities seem to be in line. That's great to see. He's going to have a bright future ahead. Please God. Snyder, again, tough one. His first world championship, the first world championship or Olympics he didn't place in I don't know how many years, 9 years, whatever it is, even more if you're looking at his cadet and his junior track record. So hats off to him, wrestling great, just a tough weight. And again, Sadulayev not even there, which could have made things worse. It could have made things better. You never know how the dynamics play out. There's always a lot to be said about styles. Again, a guy I would like to have seen be a little bit more aggressive. It seems to be a common theme there. Mason Paris, you know, again, tough one with literally legends in his weight, with Gino Petriashvili, Takagul. These guys are like, you know, again, like actual legends in the sport of wrestling. So, but I would have liked to have seen our guys, really pretty much all of them, to have been a little bit more aggressive, throw caution to the wind, let it fly, create wrestling situations. That's why he came there. He came there to wrestle. Let's not hang back. Let's go after it a little bit more, even if we're a little bit reckless. Right? I mean, we have the gas tank. The great thing about America, traditionally, we have the gas tank. We have the motor. So let's use it. Let's create action. Let's make things happen. I mean, look at Seabass, a great example there. He wanted the instant replay, and Buxton told him, you know, get your tail out there. And because he knows he's a guy who could get one. He knows that he probably knew it was the four points right there. You know, he knows that his guy is in good shape. Why? American trained, homegrown New Jersey, Seabass. Shout out to Steve Rivera and his family, the Elite Wrestling Club family. That's, you know, Scarlet Knights Wrestling Club, Rutgers, Northwestern, all that. You know, it takes a village for all these guys. So, you know, just awesome. But like, we have the cardio, we have that endurance. Let's create more action. Japan took it to everyone. And I think they were really, like, if you watch their expressions before they went out in the finals, they're pumping, they're feeling good, they looked fresh. Like, you know, we always say every year at the NCAAs, man, you know, a lot of these other teams look dead, and Penn State just looks nice and fresh. Japan looked nice and fresh. And they were getting after it, and they were making things happen, and they looked like they were having fun. I think those guys were sports psyched up. We're going to talk more about the Japanese school. Like I said, we have a full breakdown. My brother Jeff and I have a 45-minute breakdown that it's going to be coming out very soon. We're going to do a full video on the Japanese. We're going to talk a lot about even the roots of Japanese wrestling, which actually starts with judo. Like I said, Jigoro Kano, and right there, Mind Over Muscle in one of his books. And he was very big on efficiency in training and efficiency in both mind and body, and he always put the mind first. And when you look at the Japanese, in freestyle, in Greco, and of course in women's, you know, always a powerhouse, they're definitely doing things right mentally, not just physically, right? So, like I said, we're going to do a big video on demystifying the Japanese and their school of wrestling. Really, you know, look forward to that. That's going to be awesome. We're going to break that all down, as well as, like I said, we have the longer video, 45 minutes, myself and Jeff, giving our full breakdown of all these different weights. Like I said, awesome Olympics. Make sure you go back and watch the interviews. I want to do some video analysis of the interviews, because that's where you start to see what these people have in common. All the top, you know, the top wrestlers in the world, top athletes in the world, they might come in different shapes and sizes. They might have different styles, but their mindset is overall pretty much identical. So, of course, there's some variation, right? Not every guy is the same, right? Of course, there's no cookie cutter answer for all these guys, but there are commonalities. There are principles and mindset that we do want to have. So, awesome Olympics. Go back. Don't just watch the matches. Watch the interviews. I say it over and over again. And we got more for you coming up. Whether it's wrestling, school, business, or life, mindset makes the difference. And again, I should say also, we're very proud to be the United States partners, USA Wrestling's partners, mindset partners. It's really an honor. Being with them. Obviously, we had that great post from Terry Steiner, who gave Wrestling Mindset a shout out, and that was even from back in 2017. Being back at the Olympic Training Center when Sarah Hildebrandt was still very young, but Terry Steiner was a guy who, you know, he took a chance on Wrestling Mindset. He brought us in even early on in our career. So, you know, we're indebted to him. We thank, as well as Matt Lindland with the Greco team. So we thank those guys. I know Matt's not coaching the Greco team now, but the point is, him and Steiner believing in us back in the day. We appreciate it. We don't forget. We are honored to be the United States of America's wrestling's official mindset partners. And like I said, we're real excited about everything. Thank you for everything. Let's keep up the good work. We got more to come. Stick with us. Wrestling Mindset.